Hello and welcome to Mimo. We are talking a little bit about the mind and learning. And for us to be able to learn and to grow and to develop, it's very important that we take care of our thoughts. And the two main reasons why is because when the thoughts are not organized, when they are too much, it takes time. It takes you out of what you're doing, it takes your presence. And also, we create the world around us through our thoughts. And I'll talk a little bit more about it. When our mind is focused on a lot of stuff at the same time, a lot of tasks that we need to do, things that we cannot forget, and we're working on several projects at the same time, it might get blurry, it might get confused. It might happen that when you're doing a task, think of something else, that you make a mistake. It also can happen that if you think of something that you need to do and you don't do it at that moment, and you keep thinking and not doing, at some point it will happen that the due date for that thing will pass and you will not have done it. Because you thought of doing it, your mind might understand that you did and forget about it, and then you end up not completing what you need. And also, this increase of number of thoughts and ideas that goes through your mind in a not organized way, you might end up entering a line of obsessive compulsive thoughts. And that is just a repetition of negative thoughts that might be associated with depression, with burnout, or other situations that are going into your life. And that has happened to me. And one of the things that helped me to come out of it was to enter routine. Routine, at first I thought it would be trapping, that I would feel tight and that I could not do what I wanted. And what happened when I was in this loop of thoughts was that when I had established a routine that I already knew and was used to do everything in the same order, more or less, my mind didn't have to think what's the next thing I needed to do. So for example, in the morning I would wake up and then I would think what I would do next. If I would walk the dog or have breakfast or have shower or whatever. When I just structured this morning routine with meditation and everything else I was doing, my mind already knew what I had to do next. And then I did not waste time, I did not waste energy in my mind to know what was the next step. And beside that, if you're able to put on a paper everything that you need to do, all the things that are going through your mind doesn't need to repeat it anymore because it's already there, you know where to find it. And then you also open space for new thoughts, for what is there, for presence in your life. And speaking about how our mind creates the universe around us, there is a lot being said about quantum physics and how you can create and achieve an objective by thinking of it. And that got really famous on a book called The Secret, that I put also the link in the description below. But I want to go a little bit deeper in the concept that goes beyond just visualizing a goal or a material gain that you want to have. We can also understand that our thoughts create the world around us by interpreting what is happening. And everybody see what happens around them based on their own experience, on their own beliefs. And that changes from person to person. So taking care of your thoughts and how you see what happens to you also creates the world around you. And you can live one experience, and that experience being interpreted as good or bad, hard or easy. That's the part that you create. It's how you feel it, how you see it. And for me, the most interesting but also difficult part where I could clearly see this happening was when my partner, the father of Michael, had just suffered an accident and was in the intensive care. In several ways, I did feel how painful and how tragic and dramatic and heavy that situation was. But at the same time, I was able to keep a certain balance and clearance of mind that I could never imagine that I would be able to do. So when we were in the intensive care and we were receiving friends and dealing with all the hospital stuff that needed to be done, it was the most hard days of my life. But at the same time, when I tried to think of it, I had a kind of inner knowing that everything was happening as good as they could. And that was extremely weird and not making sense in the ego view. But deep down, I knew I was being guided. I knew I was being supported. When I looked in the mirror and I could see sharpness and bright in my eyes, I knew I was present and I knew I was held for things that were greater than myself. And that helped me to go through what I went through in the way that I did. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. What matters is that the way I believed that things were happening as good as they possibly could helped me to stay strong and to endure everything I was going through. And I understand this deeper knowing of me also as intuition, as being open to receive the messages from our higher soul, from our guides, from beyond, from the universe, from God, however you want to call it. And having clear mind, having an organized mind, organized thoughts, can allow you to look at it and to feel it and to connect to intuition in a different way. And I invite you for my next video where I'm gonna share a little bit more about it.